And we have returned. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. I want to, before I get started with these articles that I really want to share with you, because I think these different writers have said it even better than what I could have said it. And you're kind of rolling your eyes around laughing about that, aren't you? But President Jimmy Carter is 94 years old today, so we want to give a little happy birthday shout out to him. Was not my favorite president. He had problems. There's no doubt that he had problems. When he first started running for president, I listened to him, and I remember I was thinking, I might vote for a Democrat president. I just might do that. But that was when he first came out. Then all of a sudden his talk changed. He was one of those which I will not give any sympathy to. I don't know. When somebody tells you they're against something, but I think it should be a right, there's something wrong with that logic. Jimmy Carter did that about abortion. And years later, another man I thought a great deal of went down in my esteem, and that was Colin Powell. He did the same thing. I don't believe you should have abortion, but I think it should be available. Something wrong with that. Something's wrong with people when they have to fence ride to make others happy. I guess we all have to do that to a certain degree in relationships. You kind of, compromise, give and take. That's more than give and take, though. Well, Jeff Flake, this is titled Jeff Flake's Terrible Idea. That almost sounds like a Dr. Seuss title. It was a terrible, horrible, no good idea. Democrats want further delay in the Kavanaugh confirmation vote. And Friday afternoon, Arizona Senator Jeff Flake, I always want to say fake, gave it to them. He insisted that the FBI take another week, just 1 week, to reopen the background investigation into Brett Kavanaugh and the allegations against him. Now, I want you to remember, Brett Kavanaugh is already a federal judge. He has had 6 FBI investigations. Flake explained to get some Democrats to agree and willing to come out and publicly say we would accept this. And we would say that the process is fair at least, even if they're not going to vote for it. Well, they're not going to vote for it. There's no way they're going to vote for Brett Kavanaugh. And they've already said they want this investigation to be open-ended. Now, how ridiculous is that? And how much would that cost the American people? There goes those crumbs you had. Well, it says good luck. There's no chance whatsoever that this process will satisfy the Democrats or the press or anyone else who has already decided that Judge Kavanaugh be destroyed. Like the lady screaming at Jeff Flake. Okay, I did it on purpose that time. In the elevator. I mean, they were emotional. You've taken away my rights. Screaming. And I'm thinking, who's convinced these women? Of course, some of them, maybe not all of them, but a couple of them were paid protesters, professional protesters. I remember back in the dark ages, not that I lived then, when they talked about people hired, I guess maybe it wasn't that far back, but they hired people to grieve, scream and cry at funerals. We have hired protesters to scream at senators, when they're in a restaurant, to scream at senators when they're in an elevator, to scream at their doors at their homes. They're paid to do it. Well, the best argument, this article says, we have heard in favor of an FBI investigation is that it will help to neutralize the attacks against Kavanaugh and thereby legitimize his lifetime tenure on the court. But the Democrats in the Senate showed their cards long, long ago. Almost the entire caucus came out against him within hours of his nomination. You know, the paid protesters, they already had their signs ready. They just need to fill in the blank of the name. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who was going to be nominated. They were going to be against it. Well, it continues to oppose him. They're going to continue to do this, summing up the position neatly. Senator Chris Murphy wrote Friday that, of course, there should be an FBI investigation, before adding that whatever they find doesn't change the fact that Kavanaugh, especially after his performance yesterday, is the most dangerous Supreme Court pick of our lifetime. Because he lost his temper, they thought? You know what? They've never seen me angry. Ask my boys. When Mom gets angry, you know, he was frustrated. He was angry, and he had every right to be angry. He has his entire life on the line. What does Miss Ford have? Seriously, what does she have on the line? And whatever it is, she put it there. He didn't put it there. She did, because she's not telling the truth. Whether Senator Flake had his change of heart because of his elevator experience or not, you know, this is just crazy. He says, I feel relieved that Jeff Flake seems to have heard this is coming from one of the protesters, and her name was Anna Maria, voices in the Senate elevator today. We absolutely, this is her words, we absolutely need an FBI investigation, and for him and all senators to vote no. Wait a minute. What's the purpose of the FBI investigation? It's supposed to either clear this man or condemn this man, but it's not gonna. And even if it did, it's not changing their minds. We need to have this investigation, and we need to vote no. She's right, of course. That's exactly what they're going to do. This is a delaying tactic. It is a fishing expedition. It is, in effect, the extension of a clinical campaign of character assassination. What one wonders, does Senator Flake think the Democrats are going to do if, as almost certainly to be the case, the FBI concludes that Dr. Ford's story has no corroboration, has no truth in it? Does he expect Kamala Harris or Cory Booker to say, well, we're satisfied and we're going to vote for him now? That's not going to happen. And Dianne Feinstein isn't going to do it either. Let me explain something to you. Whether Dianne did it herself or someone else on her staff or someone else in the Democrat Party, they took Miss Ford's letter when she apparently, we're supposed to believe, wanted it to remain anonymous. She didn't want it to be exposed. They leaked it to the press. It was their Hail Mary against Judge Kavanaugh. They leaked it. Whether it was Dianne Feinstein literally doing it herself or someone else, but somebody in the Democrat Party, because they're the only ones who had it, leaked it. You know, it says here that the lawyers of Christine Blasey Ford, meanwhile, have already begun to assemble, delay, and defer. A week isn't even long enough, they say. The remit isn't broad enough, they say. Their client's objects, they say. Objects, I'm sorry. She is an object. The client objects, they say. And so they might, for it will surely be advantageous to shift from arguing nobody innocent can fear investigation to being under investigation disqualifies you for the elevation of the Supreme Court. Do you have to believe every person that comes out and accuses someone of a crime? I don't think so. And I want to further talk about how they're slandering this man. Suggested slander to ruin his reputation, to take everything he loves in his life away. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Not in the Democrat Party. It's death, slavery, and control. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. It's urgent that we take the trash out come November. 877-895-5410. That's 877-895-5410, and we will be right back.